All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachak, double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and also honor and salutations to those of you who are of the hopeful elect and are out there teaching the word of sincerity and truth. So, I wanted to talk about the B system a little bit and its increase in surveillance. There's a couple of different articles I've been collecting, and so I wanted to, read through some of these articles and show how, in order for the B system to work, right? Because we know about the CHIP, right, or the MOTB, but in order for it to work fully, there's going to have to be some level of watching. Matter of fact, let me see something real quick. Just bear with me for a second. Boom. Let's go to that. Let's go to that. Let's go to that real quick because I wanted to show something here. This is Luke 12 and 7. Let's go to 6. It says, "Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 farthings, and not one of them is forgotten before the Heavenly Father? But even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear not, therefore, ye are of more value than many sparrows." Right. And so the point is here that the hairs on our head are numbered, meaning that the Heavenly Father knows and sees everything that goes down here in this realm, right? And Esau's goal, let's see, I think that's Isaiah 14, but I want to get right to it. Let's go do it this way. Isaiah 14, maybe 12, something like that. Boom. Let's go to Isaiah 14. Let's start at 11. It says, "Thy pomp is brought down to the grave. In the noise of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee." Right? It says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High." And so their goal, right, is to have complete submission to them in the way that people worship and submit to the Heavenly Father. And the only way they're going to be able to do that is if they have, let's say, an added eye as to what it is you're doing, right? If they can say, "Oh, this person's not complying, that person's not complying," then they can, what, like we say, cut off your CHIP, and now you're disconnected from all that is the known world, right? So, a lot of it is seems sci-fi in nature, right? And that's because we've seen and read, if you're a book reader, a lot of sci-fi stories that touch on these kinds of things. And one would think that we're speaking to these movies, but really these elites, right? Namely Elon Musk and uh, William Gates. They draw their inspiration from these authors of these sci-fi stories in regards to AI, in regards to surveillance, and how they're going to run this world to come. Their ideas come from these stories, right? Uh, and so it sounds sci-fi in nature, but it's all a part of the system that we're coming into. Um, a lot of this system is already in place, right? All it's going to take is for them to connect the people to the system, right? But the infrastructure itself is already in place. So I want to touch on some of those things. Of course, my kids want to bother me. Give me 1 second. Shalak. Okay. So I wanted to get into a couple of these different articles that I pulled up, just some of the some being ideas, some things that they're willing to implement, but it's all a part of the beast system connecting the people to that system, right? So before I do that, hmm, let's go here first. Let's go here first. This is Isaiah 10:1. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed." And I think it was the NLT that said something a little bit more explicit. Boom. That wasn't it. I read it somewhere. I was on Google and I was looking at this yesterday, but that's fine. We'll just look up this word grievousness, right? So grievousness prescribed meaning what, right? So let's go to this word prescribed, right? It says to write, right? Record, enroll, to write, inscribe, engrave, write in, write on, to write down, describe, right? In writing. And this is what they do, right? They make things into laws, right? They make things. Let's say it this way: they enforce their will legislatively, right? So if they want to do something, they put it into law. And so now, if you're not complying to that, you're now breaking the law. If you're breaking the law, you're now a criminal. If you're a criminal, we can now apprehend you, right? And that's the idea. This complete control, right? And with this B system, that's what their intent is, to have complete control over the world's population, right? And then as they do that, of course, the Heavenly Father is going to have to step in. So grievousness. Let's look up that. See what it says here. Grievousness. I'm toil, trouble, right? So trouble or mischief that they have written down or written into law, right? Or prescribed, right? Written before it happened, right? So this is what they're doing now, right? And as I read this first article here, right, it sounds like it's just for illegal immigrants, but much like the Patriot Act, right? If you remember, when 9/11 happened, they implemented the Patriot Act, and basically, what the Patriot Act was. Matter of fact, let's do this. Let's ask the Chat Gippet. See what he says. Let's see. Let's do it this way. Did the Patriot Act increase surveillance? All right. Did the Patriot Act increase surveillance? Yes, the USA Patriot Act passed shortly after September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks significantly expanded government surveillance powers. Right, some key ways it did this: expanded wiretap authority, allowed for roving wiretaps where investigators could monitor a suspect across multiple devices without needing a new court order or for each device. Business records, Section 215 gave the FBI authority to obtain any tangible thing like business library or internet records deemed relevant to a terrorism investigation. This provision was later revealed to have been used to collect bulk phone metadata from millions of Americans, right? So yes, they are taking all of that information. It's funny because they got this thing on Facebook called Throwback Thursdays what is it? Yeah, Throwback Thursdays, where you post a picture of yourself when you were young, and then post a picture of yourself the way you look now. And so I forget what, if I was reading something or if I watched a video on it, but basically what that was for was to help the let's say the infrastructure or the system to show how a face could progress in age, right? And now when you look at what's this other thing called what's the filters there that they be using where you could look in the camera and it makes your face look old. All of that stuff is a part of this surveillance, right? Sneak and peek warrants allow delay notification search warrants so that the government could search a home or business without immediately notifying the target, right? So even so, if you remember this, right? So this is back in 2001, right? And I think around, let me see, let's do it like this. When was the Patriot Act 2? There technically was an official Patriot Act 2. What people often recall Patriot Act 2 refers to a draft proposed in early 2003 called the Domestic Security Enhancement Act. So this is not what I thought, but the point I was getting ready to make was this. Back in, let's say, 2008, 2009, when ironically enough, simultaneous with the growth of the truth by way of the apostles, right? Well, by way of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, I should say that, but setting up the apostles to push this word onto YouTube, the switch from analog entertainment to digital entertainment happened, right? And what the shtick was is that all of these digital devices that we have, from the phone to television, were all a part of that increased surveillance. So now, if you have a digital, let's say, television, it's not just you watching the TV; it's also the TV uh, acting as a device that can also see into your homes. Now, I can't prove that, right? But makes sense. It actually goes in line with it. I have a movie clip I have pulled up from the Minority Report, but it also reminds me of this movie I watched as a kid, Batman Forever, where you had Jim Carrey's character, Edward Nigma. He was playing the Riddler. He had a device that he wanted every American to put in their home, and what he was doing was absorbing their brain waves to make him more smarter, right? And so it's all the same stuff. They put it in movies, right? They put it in music. They put it in now on the radio, and radio shows are talking about it. So it's all a part of what did they say? Predictive programming, right? And so going back to this article here about ICE, all right? The headline here says ICE to buy eye scanning tech that could identify migrants in seconds, right? So it seems like this is something that they can use to identify illegals, right? Here in this country. But if you have the technology, why not use it for anybody, right? For let's say a disgruntled protester, right? Or us, right? Um, all of these things are going to be used. They're not going to be created and used just for it's what they're saying is going to be used for is going to be expanded out into every American citizen, right? And so for those who don't comply to the B system, they'll be able to know exactly who you are, right? So let's read a little bit of this. Again, here's the headline: ICE to buy eye scanning tech that could identify migrants in seconds. This is from August 7th of this year, so just a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe. So it says this: U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement plans to use eye scanning biometric systems, according to new documents. Procurement documents published on Wednesday show that the agency is seeking to buy access to a service called IRIS, which describes itself as National Web Based Iris Biometric Network. Newsweek contacted ICE outside normal working hours for more information via email. Why it matters. President Trump's administration has intensified efforts to remove undocumented migrants in keeping with the president's hardline mass deportation policy. The White House has maintained that anyone residing in the United States illegally is a criminal. All right. And as we know, like the scriptures say, grievousness which they have prescribed, they can make you an illegal any way they want to make you an illegal. Right. They can easily change the laws of immigration, or let's say citizenship, or what makes you legally a part of this country. They can easily change those laws and make anybody an immigrant, right? Because technically, right, the rule is these days, or it has been for the last, I don't know, few decades, that if you're born here, even if your parents came here illegally, if you were born here, then that makes you an American citizen. And this is what a lot of them tried to do for many decades. They would try to come over here and birth their children so then their children could have legal status, right? But now those things are changing, especially with Trump being in office and this increase in ICE's authority. All of that is changing, right? And so they can easily make someone who's been, let's say, a citizen here for it's their whole life, for a couple of generations, right? So let's say, like for instance, me, right? My grandfather, my father, then me. That's three generations, right? Now they could say, okay, anybody that was born here that didn't travel here, let's say deliberately, can be considered an illegal. They could change that. They could do anything they want to do, and this is why I read Isaiah 10. They can write whatever they want to write into law. Right. This is their country. This is their let's say their land that they've taken authority over, and so they can do whatever they want to do. They can write into law whatever they want to write into law. And we have to comply or be apprehended, right? And that's what we're facing here. Matter of fact, let me read this since I'm thinking about it. Go here. Let's see. Yep, here we go, right here. Oops. Okay, good. This is Revelation 3:10. It says, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth." Right. So we're all going to face this, whether or not we're going to comply or be apprehended, or comply and be killed. Right. We're all going to have to face this, and it's the ones who are heavily embedded in the faith of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai that are going to be able to beat this thing. Right. So continuing on. Spoke about this a little bit at camp, but I'll talk about it again. So this is a site that speaks to this new device called the Smart Tooth, right? So it says introducing the Smart Tooth for better dental health care, right? And so this is just further, picking up on this idea of surveillance, right? So let's read this these first few lines here. You can go back and read these. This is from Kyrene Family Dentistry. I don't even. What happened? What happened? Okay. You can go and look at this. I'm not familiar with the site, but here it is. This is, and to be fair to myself, I've seen this in a couple of different articles, but this one is the one I clicked on. But I've seen this a couple of different times, so we're gonna read this one here. So it says, introducing the Smart Tooth for better dental health care. Imagine this, your tooth, but smarter. Not just chewing food or helping you speak, but quietly collecting data. You see? Right? Analyzing your habits and sending insights to your dentist or to the police or to the FBI, right? Or to any other authority, let's say body, right? It says that's the vision behind the Smart Tooth, a breakthrough that's redefining how oral health is monitored. Originally developed by researchers at National Taiwan University, the Smart Tooth started as a small motion tracking sensor embedded in a tooth-like structure. Its mission: to track chewing, drinking, coughing, even smoking with remarkable accuracy. The concept is beautifully simple. Every mouth movement creates a unique jaw motion. A small motion sensor inside a custom crown or artificial tooth picks up these movements. right? So if it could pick up your chewing movements, it could pick up your speaking movements. And if they, and maybe this is just me using my imagination, but if they pick up on these mouth movements enough, they can figure out what you're saying, even, right? So you can read this. I'm not going to get into this whole thing, but you could read this and hear about the technology. But again, it's just another, let's say, cog in the beast system, right? Because again, this is what the intent is. The intent is to increase surveillance because they want to have complete control. And really, this is just an extension of what not Judas Maccabees, Antiochus Epiphanes wanted to do. Right. So let's read this really quick. This is First Maccabees 1:40. It says, "As had been her glory, so was her dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned into mourning." Talking about our country, right? It says, "Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath." Right? So Antiochus's goal and dream was to have the whole world speak the same language. Now you look at the world today, the primary language of the world is English, right? The proof of that is to become a pilot, no matter what country you're in, you have to learn how to speak English, right? Every country knows some form or level of English, right? Or are learning English, right? And so it's one language, right? Leave their laws, right? So you can do whatever you want to do, right? As long as you don't worship your power as the Heavenly Father, as long as you don't reverence anything outside of Antiochus, let's say, right? Then you're fine, right? And this is the goal. They want complete domination, complete reverence, right? And in order to do that, they got to watch what you're doing, watch what you're saying, right? This is if Antiochus, well, I was gonna say if he was alive today, which he could be, he could very well be, right? But if he was alive today, what they're doing is a step in the direction that he wanted to go in, which was to make all the people one so that he can be in control, right? And that's what they're doing. And that's a part of the beast system, right? Which makes me want to read this now. Revelations 13 and 15. "And had power," right, or authority, "to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed," right? So how are they going to know whether or not you're doing that? You could say you're doing anything, but the idea is to watch you and to make sure you're following those rules and regulations, right? So that's why there's been an increase in surveillance or surveillance type technologies because again, the infrastructure is being put in place, right before our faces, right? And it's just a matter of connecting you to that surveillance, right? And so here's another article here, right? And this is from where is it from? The People's Voice. Okay. Um, it says this. It says Bill Gates boasts a new electronic tattoo system will eradicate non-compliance with Agenda 2030. Right. While everyone is looking the other way, Bill Gates is working feverishly behind the scenes to kill off smartphones and replace them with a new technology: electronic tattoos embedded under your skin. I'm laughing, right? I'm laughing. And I don't mean to be so silly about this because it's very serious, but I'm laughing because where are all you other Israelite camps, man, that said this wasn't a thing, right? Look at them teeth, man. He ain't playing. Oh man, right? And so this sounds a lot like It sounds a lot like what it says in Revelation 13. Let's go back to that real quick. Oh, I'm saying I'm here. I'm sitting here reading this and ain't even showing it. Let me just go back to Revelation real quick. Let's go up. I read 15. Let's read 16. It says, and cause of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. You see. So, this is what we're looking at here, right? it says it says according to Gates, life as you know it will soon be impossible without one. Digital IDs fused with your body. A modern, this can't mark of the beast, controlling access to everything, work, travel, and money. They getting blatant with it now. Look at that. They getting blatant with it now. There we go. Right? It says we've been warning about the elite's beast system for years. Okay, that's why. And now it's coming to life. The question is, will you resist or be forced to comply? That's why it's being so explicit. This is let's say an anti-Gates site here, or anti-elite site. That's why I said it so explicitly. I'm like, damn, this can't be real. And fucking Bill Gates saying this shit. But yeah, so there you have it, man. There you have it. This is what we're uh, getting into. This is what the Heavenly Father have warned us about. And so our job is to make sure that we are deeply embedded in faith, right? To make sure that we ask the Heavenly Father for the endurance to get through these times, right? So with that, hopefully that was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Chakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Honor and salutations to the elect. And with that, I say shalom.